Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 50. My God. So, late session today. So, this is such an interesting process. So, the way that this topic came about today is because I got a question or a request a while back in the Telegram group asking if I could speak to being consistent and showing up consistently and working through procrastination. So I said that yes, I will speak to this at some point one day, and I will ask my body, and it will come whenever it's supposed to come. So today, life presented me with a situation where this topic started to come about, and so I've been in the city all day and doing different things, and then this topic came about, and here we are. So it's so nice to feel that I'm co-creating with life itself. So instead of putting a task on myself to create a session and put that into some sort of order, I was waiting for the right timing because I'm triggered by circumstances. So I'm co-creating with the external world because I'm being presented with different situations, different people, different aspects all the time. And all those situations are filled with information. And that's when it sparks by itself. So I knew that the topic would come up, but I was waiting for the right circumstance for me to wait and speak from the right place and to have the right information. So in that way, I'm removing a lot of pressure on myself because I used to have a list of things, of good ideas that I was never really getting to. And that is also a sort of procrastination. So let's talk about that. So the first thing that came to me on this topic is that most of the conversation in and around procrastination that I've been involved with says that it's connected to the nervous system. And I agree on that, absolutely 100%. But it's more than that. And there's so much more than that. So I have a bunch of notes, but I'm just going to freestyle and just make sure that I look at them. So the nervous system is absolutely key. Absolutely. So when we are in fight or flight, or when we're activated in the nervous system, we're in a I can position, even though it might be fueled by unprocessed situations and unprocessed emotions, but we are still in an activated state. So we are doing things and moving things forward. And if we become overwhelmed, or the system becomes too activated, we head up into the blue zone, the freeze state. And that's when we check out. That's when we procrastinate. That's when we self-sabotage. That is when we end up in a situation where we're not doing things. We're not showing up for whatever it is that we want to do or have committed to do. So there's different levels of this avoidance behavior. And so I agree that it has to do with the nervous system, but it also, the procrastination is an energy almost. So I look at it from a different lens, because the procrastination, if we look at it as a separate energy, then the nervous system is that. If it's an energy, then more than one system should be affected. So it cannot only be the nervous system, because what I'm noticing is that it's an energy that affects the character, and that is a very slippery energy, and it's a quite intelligent energy, because it finds reasons, it morphs, so it adapts to whatever fits in order for not to do the thing that we avoid the most. And in a lot of cases, this is the willingness or the safety, and this is the nervous system, to be seen. So the consistency and the procrastination and the self-sabotaging, this start and stop kind of behavior, it's a system, it's a full system reaction. So when we want to expand beyond our existing capacity, we need to stretch the nervous system. We need to stretch our belief systems. We need to stretch many parts, our emotional capacity, our emotional intelligence, our vitality, our capacity to hold more, to do more. The whole system needs to be able to hold the new reality. Because if we want to have more, so the abundance is about growing and expanding as a human. And as we grow and expand, we compound more of of the goods of life. And that can be relationships, that can be opportunities, it could be money, it could be love, it could be nature, it could be being in certain parts of the world. Whatever it is that you are desiring is, or whatever abundance means for you. And that means to have more of something. It is a growth and expanding energy. So I'm noticing that a lot of people that it's not okay to want more. That it's almost, if the world throws it at me, then I'm going to humbly accept it. But at me asking for it and me wanting it, it's a little bit dirty or shameful. Some people, I'm not saying all, but that's a pattern and a energy that I'm noticing. So there's multiple parts that is involved in the process of growth and expansion and manifestation. And this is the human experience, and that is our path. And we climb a little bit, and then we fall down, and then we climb up again, and then maybe we are on a streak, we take 10 steps, and then we believe somehow that I should be able to keep this pace all the time. And especially as women, we have an idea, and this is where the belief system comes in. So this has nothing to do with the nervous system. There's a way of believing how the world works. And I'm noticing that there's so many women that are feminine. They're feminine, they are connected to their bodies, they look feminine, they act feminine, they speak feminine, yet they believe that what is expected from them is a bunch of things that is deeply connected to the external masculine structure of how the world works. How does business work? How does marketing work? How does social media work? How does people work? How does client work? There's an idea. And that is also stored in the nervous system. That's where the belief systems are stemming from. So it is the nervous system, but it's not only the nervous system. So this it's like an epidemic. It's spreading through the systems. False false information is spreading through. There's this Chinese whispers in the body, in the meridians, of untruths of how the world works. And if we are unable to understand that maybe I have belief systems that is not serving me, that is keeping this energy in check inside of the nervous system. So that becomes a catch-22, because then we can do all the nervous system work in the world. But if our belief systems are so strong, then that the mind is really strong, and the ego. And then there's also energies of not wanting to present oneself as maybe I should have come further, I should be further along, and it's embarrassing to let people know that that's not the case. So there's this procrastination and unable to be consistent, is because we are operating on an energy level or a capacity or a frequency that we are unable to maintain for such a long time. And this is where the masculine comes in, because women aren't able to, we're not designed to hold a certain frequency or a certain state all the time. So that's a belief system, that I should be on top of things all the time. And most women who are diving deeper into their cycle and how that is functioning in the body knows that the feminine monthly cycle goes through different levels of energy, and we have different seasons within the month. So there's a lot of women who design, especially entrepreneurs and people who are able to oh, here's Simba with the cat. Who's unable to okay. Interruptions. This is what happens, it's a perfect example that, I'm expecting myself to hold a certain frequency throughout this whole live stream, and then something happens, and then I'm punishing myself, saying I should have been able to just hold that and not be affected by that. But that's not the case. And it's okay to fluctuate. It's okay to not be consistent. It's okay to not be perfect. And as women, we have our strong days and we have our soft days. We are as fluid as, that is the magic, that we are able to be different people on different days. On Saturday night, we can dress up and look like, the queen, and we have an aura of one personality, and another day we're the mother, and the third day we're the cleaner, and the fourth day we're at the spa, and the fifth day. There's different energies and different personalities that comes forward in different circumstances. And when we are not following the body's energies, we are also burning too much energy. So we give it our all, and we keep a pace that we love, and we just feel so good, and this is amazing, and this is where I know that this is where I should be. And then 1 week later, we're on the sofa acting like victims, like, what happened? Who killed me? it goes up and down, and that is life, and that is parts of being a woman. And learning to work with the energies inside, that's when you balance out the waves on the outside. So if we balance out the waves on the inside, we also balance out the waves on the outside. And when we learn to move with the natural flow, so it's this water, instead of being the fire, like always on, always productive, always happy, always energy, always go, 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 always exciting, always everything is working, everything is just, everything is just falling into place. If that is happening on the cost or of the expense of something else inside of the body, then it won't be able to maintain. Plus that there is a natural fluctuation inside of the feminine body in a way that the masculine is not. So learning to align with the water and balancing out the water, making smaller waves, that will balance out the bigger waves that is on the external. So we're harmonizing. And I will be talking a lot about atmospheres. So I mentioned the other day that I'm stepping deeper into field work for myself. And that has just opened up so much because it's what I've been doing for years now on my own. And that's why it's so fun to do it with someone who can put it into a process or a practice and putting it into words. And then I have a reference point to bounce off. Plus that activates so much in me. So I'm noticing that this level of field work is incorporating all the levels of my work. So I also start to talk more about that here. So let's see what I was going with that. Yes. So it's the atmospheres and the fields. That is where we start to really step into the deeper manifestation parts and really start to look at the deeper energetics of how that works. And that is very, very interesting. And that is the different levels of field work. That is the quantum, the connection to the unseen, to the unknown. And that is why it's called the fields, because you can't see it. It's not manifested in the physical reality yet. So it's the functionalities and the patterns and the laws of how these things work. And the masculine energy that we are leaving behind, we're starting to see that there are these masculine structures that is not really there. It's not going to be able to hold anymore, because there's a different frequency that is coming. It's a different energy that is coming, and it's the feminine embodied energy, this more fluid, this nurture, this how to say, I like the analogy of masculine knowledge and data, and we're moving in, and the feminine equivalent is wisdom. So it's a different atmosphere. It's still similar topics, but they have completely different frequencies. So that is why the feminine energy is it's the same topics, but it works very, very different. And when we believe that the world works in a certain way and we ignore the energetics and the setups, that's where we're going to notice a shift. because it's always going to be the environment that overrides the effort. So how we feel, and anyone who's been into a little bit of energetics and this work a little bit, it knows that the energy that we come from is the key of what we want to create, because who we are as people, we are manifesting 24/7. So who we are will draw in more of what we already are. So if we want to expand and move into different timelines or different atmospheres, we need to apply that type of atmosphere to attract it. And if we are in effort, we believe that everything is up to me. We're coming from a sense of lack. So the masculine structures that we are noticing are also deeply connected with a sense of survival and a sense of lack. And the energetics, the more feminine energetics that are coming much more from a place of abundance, of nurture, of overflow. And it's not about following the rules of the world, it's about following the rules of the self. So there's completely different energetics. And when we are stuck in the masculine, the efforting, the doing more, and when our belief or our idea of how it should feel to be aligned is connected with the masculine energetics of the past, that's when we are running on an energy that is not sustainable. So we get tendencies to get burned out from this over efforting. So the key is to align with the alignment, the aligning energy. So if the masculine energy represents a little bit of a more fiery energy, do, then the feminine energy is the water, the the adaptation, it's the intelligence, it's the cleverness. When the water is moving this way, that's when I'm gonna ride on that. So I'm doing things effortless. And that is why I wanted to make that connection in the beginning of today, that the way that this came about was I could have done it the masculine way and put it on my task list and forced my way to that and sat down and, okay, what are my teachings here? This is this, and I would come from the mind and I would start to search for different things that I know and that I learned, and I would list that and make an outline, and then I would schedule the topic for the next day or after this or that episode. Instead, I gave it to my body. I trusted my body. It cost me no energy, zero forcing. And when the time was right, it came effortlessly. And here I am speaking about it freely. I allow my body to guide the way. I have a little bit of notes because it came to me on the arrival, on the day. So I knew that because I'm doing this late today, so now it's 5:30, and I've been out and about and doing a million things and had the multiple waves in the nervous system in my field today. And I knew that a topic is going to present itself during the day. I didn't even think of the topic. I was fully focused on doing the things that I had on my agenda today, that was in my calendar. And then on the way home, sat down, tried to make notes in the car. I wasn't driving. And so it's this constant efforting. And women are living their lives as we were male project managers, just running around organizing life in a lot of ways. And the illusion of that we need to do more is one of the biggest traps in the consistency, because the idea of consistency is wrong from the get-go. And then getting to the core of the procrastination is a very interesting process, because there is a because I'm noticing it myself, because when I'm talking about it, I experience it and I can see it. I can see it in other people. And then when I can see it in other people, then I can mirror that back to myself. And I don't judge myself. I look at myself as I'm just curious, and I can see, that is that energy. So that energy had like, it's like I've been purging procrastination today for myself, because of what I've been moving through today, because we're still moving through a lot of energy, getting into the fire horse um, vibes. I mean, it's going to be a different atmosphere in the fire horse. We need to adapt from the snake energy to the horse energy. So it is a change. It is a transformation for all of us. But when I'm noticing that energy, and the way that I saw it today, it's for me, it was as a condensed fog in my energetic field. It was like moving through quicksand. It's like nothing happens. And I've been through that energy. I've had a lot of this over the years, but I've been constantly moving with my system instead of overriding it, and moving with and trusting the ebbs and the flow of life, and knowing what is my energetic setup, who am I. And the more we learn about ourselves, then we know how to set up and design our lives so that we are in harmony of our own ebbs and flows. So if you're not in harmony with your own ebb and flow, then the body is you're gonna notice that. And it could be that we are only out of harmony with our own flow. And that is why we are procrastinating, because the mind has an idea of what we are supposed to do when the body is in rest mode. But this is where the corporate comes in a lot, that you have to be productive from early morning until the afternoon. And I can't believe that I've been doing that for so many years. The level of, I understand now that I had to hermit for 9 years before I started to come out in the public like this, with commitment of staying and knowing that I have the staying power, and that I'm finally here, because I had overridden my own body and my own soul to the point where it was breaking down. And when we are living out of alignment with our purpose and what we truly want, then the body starts to disconnect as well. So yes, it's all about the nervous system, but it happens on a systemic level, and there's so many other parts that are involved. Again, move the energy, look at it, process it. The internal alchemy is what is moving the system. And using the triggers of the world to look at, and the information that we receive from interactions with other people, and really look at that, and and be objective with that and be curious about it and not be hard on ourselves because of anything. Just looking at it. Simba has a way of saying it, like, if you were looking at, if you were experiencing this for the first time, how would you explain it? Because there's so much bias, there's so much false ideas of how it works. And when we start to release that, that's when the freedom starts to happen in the body. That's where the liberation is happening. And that's when we are entering different atmospheres. So when we start to change the chemistry in the body and we start to experience these more positive emotions and sensations and experiences, that is when the external world follows suit. So it's so interesting that in the mastermind, I'm realizing that the mastermind is it's not the Phoenix Rising mastermind. It's Phoenix Rising multidimensional mastermind, because we're going to go through all of these things: the field, the silence, the connection, all of the in-depth connections to personal power, to how to build these capacities inside of the body and build that connection, so that we, when we are moving through the ebb and flow of life, and if we are moving through a procrastination phase, because when we are expanding, we will go into procrastination. It's by design. But if we believe that that's not part of it, and that we're doing something wrong, and that I need to fix something, there's a distortion here on a level where a completely new outlook on life can be in need for the whole system to change. And this is when it becomes really exciting. Yeah, so I've decided, I started to, and this is why it's so interesting. I set the container, I set the outline for the container. I say it's a mastermind, the Phoenix Rising, and I know that we're going to create these atmospheres, and we're going to do the field work, and we're going to really start manifesting on a deep level. And we do it through the physical body, through the feminine body. And this is starting to become very interesting. I'm very, very excited about this. And now I'm starting to have the onboarding calls with the women who have signed up. So half of the spots are taken. We invite 4 more people. So if you are interested in this, the field work, the deeper layers of the manifestation, let's see what I said here. Yeah, we're going to connect with the silence and use that as the gateway. We're going to connect with the deepen the connection with the spine and the intelligence of the body, emotional intelligence, capacity and pressure, feminine energetics, identity work, truth and love as the highest hierarchical energetical orders, and personal power. So this is an implementation container. It's not where I teach you the strategies and then I leave you to do it by yourself. This is the practices. So the teachings are coming along, but it's about fully merging into an atmosphere that is connected to your next level of experience. And we're doing it through the body. 4 spots. Reach out to me if you are interested. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Multidimensional mastermind. And this is why that it has to be multidimensional, because otherwise it's not fun enough. So I realized that the people, and I'm noticing also with the people that I'm inviting in, as I have the onboarding, I understand, okay, so I'm attracting the correct people because people are interested and has the ability to hold the different levels. So I know that I can go deeper. I've already know that through the onboarding calls. So this is very exciting. I'm very, very excited about the women who are stepping in, because we will be able to have a level of conversation that is extremely interesting. So, yeah. Fire Horse, day 3. Here we go. Okay. So, thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my work. Skip into the Telegram group if you want to join in the conversation and you want a little bit of interaction with me. You can ask questions on Sundays. I pop in and reply to everything that has been commented and shared in the week. And I look forward to seeing you in there. Have a beautiful day. It's happy weekend, but that doesn't matter because most of you won't listen on the day. Even you can be years behind. So I wish you a beautiful day, and ciao.